The vast emptiness of space held many secrets, but none would shake the Galactic Empire quite like their discovery of Earth. As Imperial Scout Ship 147 emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Sol system, its crew had no idea they were about to change galactic history forever. Captain Smith of the United Earth Defense Force watched the unknown ship appear on his monitoring screens. From his command center deep within the Rocky Mountains, he maintained a calm exterior while sending an alert to the Defense Council. Years of preparation for this moment had made humanity ready. "Unknown vessel detected at the system's edge, sir," reported his sensor officer. "It matches no known human designs. Keep tracking them, but do not engage our active defense systems yet," Smith ordered. "Let's see what they do first." Aboard the Imperial Scout ship, First Officer Wells looked at the readings with confusion. This system shouldn't have any advanced civilization according to their 1,000-year-old star charts. Yet here they were, detecting clear signs of technology, satellites, space stations, and energy signatures from the third planet. "Commander, we're picking up significant technological activity," Wells reported to his superior. "This isn't a primitive world." Commander Marcus of the Imperial Scout Fleet dismissed the concern with a wave of his hand. "Another developing species, no doubt. Take the standard readings and prepare the Conquest Assessment Report." But as their sensors continued scanning, the data became increasingly alarming. The planet had a unified defense network, energy readings that suggested advanced weapon systems, and what appeared to be military installations on their moon. In the United Earth Defense Council chamber, emergency meetings were already underway. General Thompson stood before the assembled leaders, his voice grave but determined. "Ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've prepared for has arrived. First contact with an alien civilization is no longer theoretical. Based on their ship's design and energy signatures, we believe this is the Galactic Empire we detected signals from years ago." The council chamber erupted in murmurs. They had intercepted Imperial communications long ago, learning of their existence and their habit of conquering lesser civilizations. This was why Earth had kept its true technological level hidden, developing in secret while maintaining a modest presence in space. "Send the warning message," ordered Council President Richardson. "Give them one chance to avoid this conflict." Across space, the Imperial Scout ship received an unexpected transmission. Clear, precise, and in perfect Imperial Standard language. "This is Earth's United Defense Council. We are aware of your Empire's practices. We advise you to mark this system as restricted and leave. This is not a request. We have studied you. We know your capabilities. If you choose conflict, you will face consequences your Empire has never encountered before. You have one standard day to depart." Commander Marcus laughed when he heard the message. Such arrogance from a single planet. Send word to the Imperial fleet. We found another world in need of civilization. Back on Earth, as the scout ship transmitted long-range communications to its fleet, Smith watched with a mix of sadness and determination. "They're not leaving, are they, sir?" his young communications officer asked. "No, they're not," Smith replied, initiating the war preparation protocols. "They never do. The Empire has grown too used to easy victories over younger civilizations. They've forgotten that appearances can be deceiving." Across Earth, hidden military installations began powering up. Orbital defense platforms, disguised as ordinary satellites, activated their weapon systems. On the dark side of the moon, massive hangar doors opened, revealing humanity's real space fleet, ships far more advanced than the civilian vessels they allowed to be seen. In his office, General Thompson looked at the latest intelligence report. The Empire was already mobilizing a conquest fleet. They expected a quick victory, a simple addition to their vast territory. Looking out his window at the setting sun, he sighed. "We warned them," he said to himself. "Heaven help them, we warned them to run." The first shots of the war hadn't been fired yet, but humanity was ready. After centuries of preparing for this moment, studying the Empire from afar, and developing technologies specifically to counter their weaknesses, Earth was about to show the galaxy why you should never underestimate humans. The Empire was about to learn a very painful lesson about judging books by their covers, and humanity was going to be a very harsh teacher. 3 days after the scout ship's report, the Imperial Conquest Fleet arrived at the edge of the Sol system. 50 massive warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel, their golden hulls gleaming in the distant sunlight. Admiral Green of the Empire stood on his command bridge, looking at the blue planet on his view screen. "Such a small world to show such defiance," he said to his officers. "Begin the standard conquest formation. Let's show them what real space warfare looks like." In the Earth Defense Command Center, General Thompson watched the Imperial fleet's approach on the main screen. Around him, military personnel worked calmly at their stations, years of training paying off in this crucial moment. "They're using their standard arrowhead formation," reported Captain Smith, "exactly as our intelligence suggested they would." Thompson nodded. "They haven't changed their tactics in 300 years. Send the code word to all stations. Sleeping Giant." Across the solar system, humanity's hidden defenses came to life. On Mars, massive cannon batteries emerged from under the red sand. Throughout the asteroid belt, what looked like ordinary rocks split open to reveal missile platforms. And from the dark side of the moon, Earth's true warships moved into position. The Imperial fleet pushed forward, confident in their superior numbers. Their sensors detected the small human ships moving to defend their world, but these seemed primitive compared to Imperial vessels. Admiral Green didn't even bother to raise their defensive shields to full power. That was his first mistake. "Sir," his sensor officer shouted, new energy signatures appearing throughout the system. Before Green could respond, the first wave of human attacks began. From Mars, enormous rail guns fired projectiles at near light speed. The Imperial ship's partial shields, designed to stop energy weapons, proved useless against these simple but devastating kinetic weapons. "Impossible," Green shouted as 3 of his ships were pierced clean through. "Raise shields to maximum. Return fire." But Earth wasn't done with surprises. The asteroid belt erupted with thousands of missiles, each one using technology the Empire had never seen before. Instead of conventional warheads, they carried quantum disruption fields that bypassed Imperial shields completely. "Sir, they're weapons. They're not following normal physics," an Imperial officer cried out. "Our shields aren't designed for this." In Earth's command center, Thompson watched as the carefully planned attack unfolded. "Launch our fleet now," he ordered. "Show them what human ships can really do." From behind the moon, Earth's warships appeared. Unlike the blocky, golden Imperial vessels, human ships were sleek and dark, designed for both power and stealth. They had studied Imperial technology for years and built their vessels specifically to exploit its weaknesses. Admiral Green stared in shock as his mighty fleet began falling apart. "How are they predicting our every move?" he demanded. The answer was simple. Humans had been intercepting and studying Imperial communications for decades. They knew every standard Imperial tactic, every formation, every response pattern, and they had prepared counters for each one. "Multiple Imperial ships breaking formation," reported Captain Smith. "They're trying to retreat." "Don't let them," Thompson ordered. "The Empire needs to learn that attacking Earth has consequences." Human ships, faster and more maneuverable than their Imperial counterparts, cut off the retreat paths. More rail gunshots from Mars pierced through the Imperial fleet's rear guard. The asteroid belt's missile platforms continued their relentless assault. In just under an hour, the mighty Imperial conquest fleet had been reduced to floating debris. Only Admiral Green's flagship remained, its engines damaged and weapons disabled. "This is impossible," Green whispered, watching the human ships surround his vessel. "We are the Imperial fleet. We cannot be defeated by a single world." The communication screen on his bridge activated, showing General Thompson's face. "Admiral Green, your fleet is destroyed. Your ship is disabled. We warned you to run. Now you'll carry a message back to your empire. Earth is not for conquest. We are not helpless, and we are not afraid." As Green's crippled ship limped back toward Imperial space, the Empire faced a horrifying new reality. For the first time in centuries, they had not only failed to conquer a world, they had been completely defeated, and this was only the beginning of humanity's response to their aggression. 2 weeks after defeating the Imperial Conquest Fleet, Earth launched its counterattack. The Empire had expected humans to stay in their system, defending their homeworld like most species did. They were wrong again. General Thompson stood on the bridge of the EDF Vengeance, Earth's most advanced warship, as it led a fleet of 200 vessels toward Imperial space. Unlike the golden Imperial ships, these were painted deep black, absorbing both light and scanning beams. Status report. Thompson called out to his crew. "All ships report ready, sir," replied Commander Wilson. "Our stealth systems are working perfectly. Imperial sensors can't detect us." This was humanity's first major advantage. They had developed true stealth technology, something the Empire thought impossible. Their ships moved through space like ghosts, invisible to standard detection methods. Back on Earth, President Richardson addressed the Defense Council. "The Empire believes we're just another primitive species fighting for survival. They don't realize we've been preparing for this war for 50 years. On the main screen, hundreds of green dots showed human ships spreading out across space, not just warships, but also smaller, faster vessels designed for hit-and-run attacks. Each one carried technology specifically created to counter Imperial defenses. Deep in Imperial territory, at a major supply base, alarms suddenly blared. Imperial Commander Hayes rushed to his command center, only to find chaos. 20 human ships had appeared from nowhere, already launching attacks. "How did they get past our border patrols?" Hayes shouted. "Where did they come from?" Before anyone could answer, the human ships released swarms of small, automated drones. These machines, guided by advanced AI, targeted the base's defensive systems with surgical precision. Imperial soldiers fired back, but their weapons were designed to hit large ships, not tiny, fast-moving drones. "Sir," a panicked officer reported to Hayes, "they're not just attacking us. We're getting reports of simultaneous strikes at 12 other bases." This was humanity's second advantage. They didn't fight like the Empire expected. Instead of engaging in traditional space battles, human forces struck multiple targets at once, disappearing before the Empire could respond. On the EDF Vengeance, Thompson watched the reports coming in. "Begin Phase 2, he ordered. "Show them what else we can do." Across Imperial space, communication networks suddenly filled with human broadcasts. Videos of the Empire's defeat at Earth played on every channel. Messages appeared in all Imperial languages. "We warned you. This is just the beginning." The Empire had always used fear to control its subjects. Now, humans were using that same fear against them. Every successful raid, every destroyed base, every escaped human ship sent the same message. The Empire wasn't invincible anymore. "Sir," Wilson reported to Thompson, "Imperial ships are responding exactly as predicted. They're grouping into large defensive fleets." Thompson smiled. "Just like they always do. Launch our new weapons." From the human ships, special missiles shot out. But instead of exploding, they attached to nearby asteroids and space debris. Each missile carried a simple but effective device, a gravity manipulator. Suddenly, Imperial patrol ships found themselves being hit by asteroids moving at impossible speeds and angles. Their rigid formations, designed to defend against direct attacks, made perfect targets for this indirect warfare. In his command center, Commander Hayes watched helplessly as another supply base fell to human forces. "These humans, they're not fighting fairly," he protested. His second-in-command looked at him strangely. "Sir, I don't think they care about fighting fairly. They care about winning." Back on the Vengeance, Thompson received a priority message from Earth. President Richardson's face appeared on his screen. "General, the Empire has just lost 28 bases and 37 ships. They're pulling their forces back to protect their core worlds." "Good," Thompson replied. "Now they know what it feels like to be hunted. Should we proceed with Phase 3? "Absolutely," Richardson said. "Let's show them what happens when they threaten Earth." As human ships continued their advance, the Empire faced an uncomfortable truth. They weren't just fighting another species. They were fighting an enemy that had studied them for years, knew all their weaknesses, and had no intention of following the traditional rules of warfare. The Empire had started this war expecting an easy victory. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant, and now they were paying the price. The Imperial Palace on Capital World shook with angry voices. For the first time in 800 years, the Empire's Grand Council was in complete chaos. 50 of the most powerful leaders in the galaxy argued as reports of human victories kept appearing on the main screen. "How is this possible?" shouted Council Leader Banks, pounding his fist on the golden table. "How can one primitive world cause so much damage?" Another council member stood up, his face red with anger. "We've lost 40% of our outer bases. These humans don't just defeat our ships, they're destroying our reputation." This was the Empire's biggest problem. For centuries, they had ruled through fear and shows of strength. Now, everyone in the galaxy was watching them lose battle after battle to a species they had dismissed as primitive. In his private command center, Admiral Reed, the Empire's new fleet commander, studied videos of human attacks. Unlike other Imperial leaders, he saw the terrible truth. Humans weren't just fighting a war, they were revolutionizing space combat. "Look here," he said to his staff, pointing at a battle recording. "They never attack the same way twice. While we stick to our old methods, they keep inventing new ones." On a nearby Imperial colony world, massive crowds gathered in the streets. They had seen the human broadcast showing Imperial defeats. Now they were demanding changes. "The humans protect their people," a protest leader shouted. "The Empire just demands we die for them. Maybe we should join Earth instead." This was exactly what the Empire feared most. Their perfect system of control was breaking apart. More colony worlds were refusing to send ships and soldiers. Some were even trying to contact Earth secretly. Back on the Capital World, Council Leader Banks received more bad news. "Sir, our spies report that the humans have built bases on Mars, Venus, and throughout their asteroid belt. They've been preparing for war for decades." "Impossible," Banks shouted. "Our scouts would have seen." "Our scouts saw what the humans wanted them to see," Admiral Reed interrupted, entering the council chamber. "While we watched their civilian ships and satellites, their real fleet and bases stayed hidden. We walked right into their trap." The council chamber's main screen lit up suddenly. Earth was broadcasting again, but this time directly to the Capital World. General Thompson's face appeared, his expression serious but calm. "People of the Empire," he began, "you tried to conquer us. You ignored our warning. Now you're paying the price. But it doesn't have to continue." The council members watched in shocked silence as Thompson continued. "Earth doesn't want to destroy the Empire. We don't want your worlds or your resources. We just want to be left alone. Stop attacking, start talking, and this war can end." But Empire hadn't survived for 1,000 years by backing down. Council Leader Banks ordered their biggest fleet yet to gather. "We'll show these humans what real Imperial power looks like." Admiral Reed disagreed. "Sir, if we gather our ships in one place, we'll be giving them a perfect target. The humans have proven they can." "Silence," Banks shouted. "I won't let some primitive world dictate terms to the Empire. Launch the attack." As the Empire gathered its fleet, Earth's sensors detected every move. In his command center, General Thompson watched with his officers. "They're really going to do it," Commander Wilson said. "They're gathering most of their remaining ships for one massive attack." Thompson nodded. "Just as we predicted. Their pride won't let them accept defeat. Are our new weapons ready?" "Yes, sir. The quantum disruptors are prepared. The Empire has no idea what's coming." As both sides prepared for the biggest battle yet, the Empire faced a painful truth. They weren't just losing a war, they were losing their power over the galaxy. Every human victory showed other worlds that the mighty Empire could be defeated, and Earth was about to show them something even worse. The largest Imperial fleet ever assembled dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Jupiter. 500 warships, including the Empire's dreaded planet-killer vessels, filled the space around the giant gas planet. Council Leader Banks had committed nearly every remaining ship to this final attack. "Let's see how Earth handles real Imperial power," Banks said from his flagship's bridge. "Launch the planet killers first." 3 massive black ships moved forward, each one capable of destroying an entire world. They were the Empire's ultimate weapons, designed to terrify any opposition into surrender. No civilization had ever stood against them before. In Earth's command center, General Thompson watched calmly as the Imperial fleet approached. President Richardson stood beside him, both leaders studying the massive holographic display showing enemy positions. "They brought exactly what we expected," Thompson said. "Are you sure you want to use the new weapon?" Richardson nodded. "They brought planet killers, General. Time to show them what human science can really do." Throughout the solar system, hidden human installations powered up. They had been building this weapon network for 20 years, waiting for the right moment. Each installation contained quantum entanglement devices, a technology the Empire thought impossible. On the Imperial flagship, alarms suddenly blared. "Sir," an officer shouted to Banks, "we're detecting strange energy readings everywhere." Before Banks could respond, space itself seemed to twist around his fleet. The quantum entanglement network activated, creating controlled disruptions in the fabric of space-time. Imperial ships found themselves unable to move or fire their weapons. "What is this?" Banks demanded. "What are they doing to us?" The answer came as Earth's fleet appeared from behind Jupiter's moons. But these weren't normal warships. Each human vessel now glowed with strange blue energy, protected by the same quantum fields that trapped the Imperial fleet. "Imperial forces," General Thompson's voice broadcast across all channels. "Your ships are held in our quantum lock. Your weapons cannot function. Your engines cannot move. Surrender now." Banks laughed despite his fear. "You think we'll surrender to these tricks? Launch all fighters. Fire everything we have." But when Imperial ships tried to launch their fighters, something even stranger happened. The quantum fields didn't just stop their ships. They shut down any technology more advanced than basic life support. "Sir," an Imperial officer reported, his voice shaking, "we can't even open our fighter bay doors. Nothing's responding." Then Earth revealed its second surprise. From the asteroid belt, thousands of automated combat drones appeared. Unlike the Imperial ships, these small machines could move freely through the quantum fields, protected by human technology. "Last chance to surrender," Thompson broadcast again. "We don't want to destroy your fleet, but we will if we must." Banks stood from his command chair, face red with rage. "Never. We are the Empire. We do not surrender to primitives." "Very well," Thompson replied. "You were warned." Again. The combat drones attacked. Without working weapons or shields, the mighty Imperial fleet could only watch as the drones systematically disabled ship after ship. The planet killers, for all their terrifying power, were helpless. In just 2 hours, the greatest fleet in Imperial history was reduced to drifting hulks. No ships were destroyed, but none could move or fight. The Empire's ultimate attack had failed completely. From his flagship's bridge, Banks watched in horror as human ships moved between his disabled vessels, rescuing crews and securing ships. "How?" he whispered. "How did they do this?" The answer came from Admiral Reed, who had opposed this attack. "They did it by never underestimating their enemies. While we dismissed them as primitives, they studied us. While we relied on old tactics, they invented new ones. This is the price of our pride." As human forces secured the disabled Imperial fleet, President Richardson made a galaxy-wide broadcast. "To all worlds under Imperial rule, you have seen their greatest fleet defeated without a single life lost. Earth offers friendship to any world that wants freedom. The age of Imperial conquest is over." Across the galaxy, hundreds of worlds began to revolt. The Empire's perfect system of control, built on fear and displays of power, had been broken by a single battle above Jupiter, and Earth was just getting started. 1 month after the Battle of Jupiter, the Empire faced total collapse. 50 worlds had already declared independence. Hundreds more threatened to follow. In a desperate move, the Imperial Council turned to their last hope, Admiral Reed. "You've studied the humans," Council leader Banks said. his voice now humble after his defeat. "You're our last chance to save the Empire." Reed stood before the council, his face grim. "I have a plan, but you won't like it. We must change everything about how we fight." On Earth, General Thompson received urgent reports from their spy network. "Admiral Reed is gathering ships in a new way," he told President Richardson. "He's not following standard Imperial tactics." Finally, Richardson said, "Someone in the Empire is learning." Reed had indeed learned. His new fleet was different from any before it. The ships were smaller, faster, and spread out instead of grouped together. He had studied every human victory and adapted Imperial tactics accordingly. "Watch these humans closely," Reed told his commanders. "They beat us because they fought smarter, not just stronger. Now we'll do the same." The new Imperial fleet approached Earth using hidden routes, avoiding main travel lanes. They didn't bunch up in traditional formations. They looked, in fact, very much like a human attack fleet. In Earth's command center, Thompson studied the approaching enemy. "Reed's copying our tactics," he said to his officers. "He's making this interesting." "Should we use the quantum weapons again?" Commander Wilson asked. Thompson shook his head. "Reed's ships are too spread out. They learned from Jupiter. Time for our backup plan." As the Imperial fleet closed in, Earth appeared completely undefended. No ships in orbit, no visible weapons. Even their orbital satellites seemed to be missing. Admiral Reed wasn't fooled. "They're hiding something," he told his fleet. "Be ready for anything." Suddenly, space around Earth came alive. Thousands of small objects appeared, each one barely bigger than a car. Earth had hidden its entire defense network using advanced holographic technology. "Launch the AI swarms," Thompson ordered. The small objects were automated combat units, each controlled by artificial intelligence far beyond Imperial technology. They moved in perfect coordination, predicting enemy actions before they happened. Reed watched in amazement as his carefully planned attack fell apart. The AI units didn't fight like humans or like Imperial forces. They fought like a single giant organism, adapting instantly to every move his fleet made. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "these machines, they're learning from us as we fight. Every tactic we try fails faster than the last one." Reed knew he had lost, but he had one final card to play. "All ships, initiate Protocol Omega." His fleet broke apart, each ship targeting a different part of Earth's solar system. If they couldn't win, they would at least do some damage. But Earth had predicted this too. From the dark side of Mars, hundreds of human warships appeared. They had been waiting there, cloaked, the whole time. "Check," Thompson said quietly. The human ships launched their newest weapons, cybernetic boarding pods. These small units attached to Imperial ships and hacked directly into their computer systems. "Sir," Reed's communications officer shouted, "we're losing control of our ships. The humans are. They're taking over our computers." Within hours, Reed's entire fleet had been captured, not destroyed. Earth had once again won without killing their enemies. Admiral Reed stood on his captured bridge as General Thompson transported aboard. "You adapted well," Thompson said to Reed. "You almost surprised us." "Almost," Reed replied quietly. "We never had a chance, did we?" "You did," Thompson said, "when we warned you to run. Everything after that was inevitable." As human forces secured the last Imperial ships, President Richardson made another broadcast to the galaxy. "The Empire's last fleet has been captured. Their age is over. Earth offers friendship and protection to all peaceful worlds. The time of conquest is done." In the Imperial Palace, Council Leader Banks watched his empire crumble. They had started this war expecting an easy victory over primitives. Instead, they had awakened humanity, and the galaxy would never be the same. 6 months after the Empire's final defeat, the Great Hall of the United Earth Council hosted an historic gathering. Representatives from over 1,000 worlds filled the massive chamber, their diverse appearances showing the true scope of galactic civilization. President Richardson stood at the central podium, with General Thompson and Admiral Reed beside him. The former Imperial Admiral had helped negotiate the peace after recognizing the futility of continued war. Today, Richardson addressed the gathered species, we begin a new chapter in galactic history. Not an empire ruled by fear, but an alliance built on mutual respect and protection. The Earth Alliance Treaty was displayed on massive screens throughout the hall. Unlike imperial documents that demanded submission, this treaty offered choice. Worlds could join, remain independent, or keep their own alliances. In the audience, former Council leader Banks watched with a mix of sadness and wonder. "We ruled through force for 1,000 years," he said quietly to Reed. "How do they expect to maintain order through choice?" Reed smiled slightly. "That's why we lost, old friend. We never understood that willing allies are stronger than fearful subjects." The changes across the galaxy were already visible. Human technology, previously hidden, now helped many worlds. Their quantum communications networks allowed instant contact across vast distances. Their AI systems helped solve problems that had troubled alien civilizations for centuries. Earth keeps surprising us, a delegate from a former imperial world said during the treaty signing. "We thought they would conquer us after defeating the Empire. Instead, they're helping us grow stronger." But Earth wasn't just being generous. General Thompson had established new defense protocols for Alliance members. Early warning systems, shared technology, and rapid response fleets ensured that no future empire could threaten peaceful worlds. The galaxy shouldn't need a single powerful ruler, Thompson explained to the gathered military leaders. It needs equals working together, ready to face any threat. Some former imperial worlds chose not to join the alliance, expecting Earth to force them. They were shocked when humans respected their choice. "We fought for our right to choose," President Richardson told them. "We won't take that right from others." In Earth's military headquarters, Commander Wilson showed Thompson the latest reports. Their warning beacons now extended to the galaxy's edge. Their ships patrolled trade routes, not to control them like the Empire, but to keep them safe for everyone. "Quite a change from 6 months ago," Wilson said. "Hard to believe we were just defending our own system then." Thompson nodded. "We never wanted galactic power. We just wanted to be left alone. But sometimes protecting yourself means helping others protect themselves too." The Empire's former capital world was transformed. Where golden palaces once showed imperial might, new centers of learning and cooperation rose. Admiral Reed, now working with Earth, helped convert imperial warships into exploration vessels. "We spent centuries conquering," Reed told his former officers. "Now we'll spend centuries discovering instead." 1 year after the war began, President Richardson stood again before the Alliance Council. The chamber was fuller than ever, as more worlds joined each month. "Remember how this started," he said to the gathered representatives. "We warned them to run. We didn't want war. But when it came, we proved that determination, innovation, and cooperation are stronger than any empire." "And what if another empire rises?" someone asked from the audience. Thompson stepped forward. "Then they'll face not just Earth, but 1,000 united worlds. We've shared our technology, our knowledge, our strength. The next empire will have to think very carefully before threatening any of us." In orbit above Earth, ships from hundreds of worlds docked at the new Alliance station. Their crews mingled, shared stories, and learned from each other. Human children played with alien children, while scientists of all species worked together in advanced laboratories. The Empire had thought they were attacking a primitive world. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant who showed the galaxy a better way. And if anyone ever again thought of conquest, they would remember the Empire's mistake and the warning they ignored. "We told you to run."